Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday, and welcome back to another episode of Paranormal Tea Time. As always, or as usually, I'm joined by my co host, Stephanie.
Hello, hello.
And joining us for tea tonight is the one and only Mark DeNardo.
How's everybody doing?
Great. How are you?
So I'm
Good.
so happy that you were able to come on, Mark, because Mark is one of our good friends. He helps us out on a lot of investigations, and you're always fascinating. I call you like the Inspector Gadget of the paranormal.
Completely.
Yeah. I'm laughing at myself. I put up Paranormal Tech Nerd as my handle, and I was like, maybe I should have put my uh, third paranormal or something like that. But I guess I don't take myself that seriously, so I threw it up there like that.
I mean, it's valid. Do you want to tell everybody really quick, just kind of introduce yourself and how you kind of got into this crazy field?
Sure, absolutely. Mark DeNardo. I have a small investigative group, which is an army of one right now, called Third Power Paranormal. Um, Really, the kind of investigation style I have is to use technology with an emphasis on spirituality as well as natural boundaries of a location, as well as the history. Primarily, if I was any one of those things, I'm more in the tech department. I'm not really an intuitive. I'm not really psychic in any way. I do have Bronx sixth sense when I know my life's in danger. But aside from that, I do rely on a lot of equipment to try and capture evidence. Um, how I got into it, I was kind of like everybody else. For years, I used to watch the ghost shows, and I used to sit there and look at the equipment they were using with fascination. And then the pandemic broke out, and I was working from home pretty much all the time. And I found myself with a lot of extra time. So I started tinkering with gadgets, cameras, kind of getting back into electronics like I used to do when I was younger. And, you know, uh, my commitment to the paranormal kind of went around some experiences I had when my parents passed away. I lost both of them, one in 21 and one in 22. Um, and, you know, One of the first ghost investigations I went to was when I was just like a paying member. I went to the Jacob T. Walden house with you guys, and you answered all my silly questions. I had no equipment at the time. I had a recorder from Amazon that I picked up, and my fascination just kind of grew from that because we caught an EVP my first time out. It was very audible, if you remember, and from there I was like, wow, this is really something I really want to kind of jump into. um, but yeah, started tagging along with other groups, people that would allow me to hang out with them and kind of get a flavor of how it is to investigate. And from them, I started designing and building cameras, learning about different sensors people were using, and I started just kind of developing and building my own equipment from there. And 5 years later, here I am.
Now you're building things that are gonna like get you on watch lists and take over the world.
Men in Black.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it's my personality. Like, irrefutable proof. If I get that golden bullet of a piece of evidence, and then it's like, okay, now what? But till then, I'm just gonna keep doing what I do, and
Mhm.
have a lot of fun along the way. I really don't take myself very seriously, and I'm always happy to share my knowledge with anybody who wants to learn about building their own stuff. And I've done that in the past. People have asked me questions, reached out to me, and I'm happy to answer and steer them with technologies or programming or learning how to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
Raul remembers you from back in those days.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of my stuff was so homebrewed. There was a ton of stuff, like wires sticking out, and I would stumble and bumble all over the place and make all the mistakes. But, I think, I've kind of refined my own investigative style now. It's I come in, I set up stuff. In fact, I went through an exercise of kind of scaling down all the paranormal junk I had around my house, and I found I'm down to like, a few of those hard cases that I carry, and some of the newer stuff I'm making, because I'm finding things that work and work better, and the old stuff is like, well, that was a stepping stone to get to where I was. So
Mhm.
So what was it like? Because we just did, and you helped us out on our last investigation at the Walden House. So what was it like to have that like full circle moment?
I definitely was like, wow, here I am, and I'm like, I'm part of the team tonight. I'm hosting people. And it's funny. I've done this a few times. You always get those butterflies in the beginning because, yeah, like I can go off into a million tangents about all the stuff I'm doing, and like but these people have probably been out on a Friday night. They don't want to hear me drone on. They want to get into investigating. So I've kind of shorten my presentations and try to get more engaged with the audience, and at some point I'm even going to bring stuff that they can touch and use, if somebody wants to strap on my SLS camera for the night, go ahead, enjoy. But yeah, I mean, it was definitely a full circle moment, and it was fascinating to go into that little museum in the back there. One of my cameras kept firing that night, so I have to go back and see if I caught anything. When Anthony was back at the end of the night, we kept getting hits in this one area, and we were trying to debunk it. We had Brianna go upstairs, and we were still getting hits on the millimeter wave radar while I was there. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to going through all that evidence and seeing if I caught anything. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
It was the robot was acting really weird that night too. It was that hallway. The Schaefer House just recently opened. For those of you who don't know, it's part of the Historic Society. They have the Walden House in the front, which is the Jacob T. Walden House, and then the Schaefer House, which is the Walden Knife Museum. And Mark was stuck in the Schaefer House, and that was really the first time that had been investigated at all.
Yeah. So yeah, I set up, I did a couple of fun experiments. I use this, and I have a camera, and I'll show you the screen later what it does, but basically it uses LiDAR, it uses millimeter wave radar. It's also motion activated as well. I was getting hits on that, especially in between investigations. When there were less people in the room, it seemed to be more active, which was really strange. And then I went old school and I did a infinite loop. And some of the paranormal people out there that have, been doing this for a while, it's basically pointing a video camera at a monitor. It's kind of like taking a picture into a mirror. You're creating an infinite loop. And the theory is it's a portal. And if you change the direction of the camera a little bit, you zoom in, you zoom out, you start to get patterns that repeat themselves. And, you can start to see things come through and manifest. But I had a spare digital recorder, so I recorded all those sessions I did. So that's something else I want to kind of scroll through and see if there's anything interesting there as well. And also a good way to get EVPs.
I think that was a really cool experiment because that's been around, for a really long time with, kind of ITC research, and it's cool that you were bringing it back.
Yeah. It's, I do a lot of reading on the side when it comes to paranormal and investigative techniques. Like I'm even delving into EVP work as well, using, white noise, quantum microphones, they call them, just to see if I can come up with an application that'll filter out that noise and come through. But I'm trying to make it portable, kind of like EVP on a stick, like my little stands that I use. So, but I think right now I got more ideas than I have time. So I kind of narrowed it down to a couple things that I want to work on, and one of them is going to be Project Page. And in fact, Paige is looking at you right now.
Before we get into Paige, because I always get going and then forget that, but this reminded me because you said you have more ideas. I got a new mug. It's Belle, because she's my favorite. And it says, "Sorry, I'm fully booked."
How cute.
And that is so me. I can't even. And tonight, because I did get back from Salem this week, and I picked up way too much tea. I am drinking Rest in Peach Salem Ghost Tea from Whispering Ghost.
That is so neat.
Steph, what are you drinking tonight?
So I am drinking Hardy & Sons Paris, but I also got a brand new cup today.
You got that at Home Goods.
I did get it at Home Goods.
I saw it.
And
I almost bought the other one.
I also got this one. So it's got little
we would have had matching mugs.
Dude, now you got to go back and get it.
Sean told me the saucer was too big. I didn't need it.
Well, I almost bought like 4 of them because I thought we'd all need a cup for when everybody comes over for tea time. But then there wasn't like a matching teapot, so I was like, I talked myself out of it.
I had the black and white one, the black and white teapot.
See, that's the one I had picked out, but it doesn't exactly match. So
No.
I want a matching set.
Mark, what are you drinking tonight?
I just grabbed one of my wife's mugs, so it says "Hello Sunshine."
I love
Um, I had a cool one that I just got from Florida that had an alligator on it, but I forgot to grab that one. I just grabbed the first one I saw. But
that sounds fun.
yeah,
Anomaly.
whoops.
Possible match to reference image.
She tends to butt in sometimes. Sorry about that.
Hi, Paige.
But she's,
Kind of like a child.
you know what it is? She's pointed at the screen, and your background has like little fog going. And one of the shadow figures that I uploaded has that kind of silhouette, so it might have picked up on that kind of outline. But yeah, we have seasonal mugs. We have Christmas mugs. We have summer mugs. You know, so yeah, no shortage of them. We have too many actually.
Very nice. And you are drinking what in your mug?
Green tea tonight. Stick with the theme.
Very good.
There we go.
Yes.
I was going to be drinking. I bought a new one at the beach, of course. And I know I posted that cup on Facebook at least, but it's so cute, but it's so big. It's more like a good coffee mug. So I was like, I'll be dainty in my little teacup tonight.
Right. That is a cute one. Now I got to go back and get it.
Yes, you do.
I almost feel like you guys got to get a set of Victorian mugs. Yeah, it's Paranormal Tea Time.
Well, that's kind of why I liked this, because I'm very into like gothic, obviously spooky, and Victorian. And this with the skull couple absolutely fits the bill. So it was too
That's very
cheap to
cool.
pass up.
Adam Ramos is asking, do y'all like your tea sweet or unsweetened? From that y'all, I'm going to guess you like yours sweetened.
Mine is definitely sweet, always sweet tea. And sometimes I like to put a little spot of milk in my tea as well. But generally, this sweet tea, iced sweet tea.
Sweet. Yeah, I have some sugar in here.
Mm-hmm.
I like the cold brew. I usually don't put any sugar in that. I have no sugar in this one right now. But if I drink like English breakfast tea, I'll put some sweetener in it because it's a little too bitter.
I've tried to move away from sweetener and just like sugar, but I got granulated honey packets. And it does the job just fine, and it's a bit healthier, so there we go.
Very cool. Good. So back to Paige, since she was like, hello, you stole my moment with all your tea talk.
She's like,
What
teach me.
is she?
So right now, Paige is about, I'd say, 4 feet tall, but really the bulk of what Paige is really all in its brain right here. Brain sits behind the sensors. So Paige stands for Paranormal Artificial Evidence Gathering Entity. And it does have artificial intelligence working in here. There's actually 3 forms of artificial intelligence. There's an image detection software called Yellow. There is a voice command, which I'm going to use for EVPs as well, called Whisper. And the heart of Paige, which, future demonstrations, when I get all the software nailed down, it actually can interact with you because it has an intelligence engine. Now, it's not like the Terminator, but there is a scripted kind of prompt that you give it. This is what you are. This is what you do. It's got different modes of interaction. There's a silent mode. I can turn off that loud voice, but I did want to show a few things as to how it works. But yeah, so, I guess I started building it because I started seeing a lot of people saying AI in the paranormal community. And I'm like, well, do you really understand, what artificial intelligence is? And there's everything from large language models to neural networks. I'm not going to bore the audience. I mean, I took a couple of courses over last summer to kind of understand how they're built, but basically they're learning models. And this one has a unique feature. When I share the screen, it can actually recognize people. I can enroll people's faces in there, so it knows the difference between an investigator and maybe something or in a human form walking by. It's also got threshold, confidence threshold. So I can make it as sensitive as I want. Like the first time I take this thing to a location, I'm going to dial them both down because I'd rather it try to capture an anomaly that it doesn't understand, versus missing something. But I can tune that. I can make it very strict. I sent a couple of videos to you, and they're on my Instagram channel. There's a picture of me holding my little glow-in-the-dark ghosts that I hand out. I uploaded that picture to the actual system, and I put it right in front of there, and it gave a confidence threshold of like 75%, and I identified it as an anomaly. Obviously, I'm going to take that out because it's not really what I wanted to do. In fact, anybody who's listening, if you drop me a line on Facebook, Instagram, and you got pictures of shadow figures, please send them to me. I'll upload them up and use it to teach this model what to look for. So,
That's
it
awesome.
goes beyond just a sensor suite. It's, and there's going to be a lot more it's going to do. At some point it's going to move around on its own. I just haven't figured that piece out yet, how I wanted to do it, because I got to make sure it can't fall down the stairs,
Told you,
and
just stick
things
it on
like
a
that.
Roomba. Your house
It's not
is
a bad.
clean and you hunt for ghosts.
I was thinking like a brontosaurus. They say brontosauruses used to have two brains because of the size of them, one for the basic movement and the other for thinking. So I'm thinking that that's what will control how it moves around. So this part can focus on investigating, and if it wants to move, it'll send a command, and then the other computer that's going to be in it will control how it moves. And, oh, look out for the doorway! Don't go down the stairs. So that part's a little more challenging than actually building this part. But yeah, it's just a lot to come with this, and there's a lot of cool things that it does. you know, so I'm really excited about this, and I think it's going to be kind of the basis for anything that I use to investigate in the future. I got these little joints on here I can actually hang off arms where I can put sensors away from the electronics in the body so that it can do readings. If I wouldn't want it to pick up like it's actually a machine behind here. It's a Raspberry Pi in a case with cooling and a AI chip and all this other stuff. But I'll hold other sensors away from it so it doesn't interfere and pick it up as like an electromagnetic anomaly. So
See, when you're talking about the two brains, all I can think of in my head is like the conjoined twins, like, no, we're going this way. No, we're going that way. It's arguing with itself.
This brain is going to send down to the other brain, go that way. And the other brain will be like, all right, I'm going that way. Okay, I see you with this. I'm not going to bump into that. So it's going to be like a Roomba on steroids. But yeah, I'm pretty psyched. It came together really nicely. It's been my early spring into summer project. I did set a date. If you look at the teasers I've been putting out on Instagram, I want it alive by September 1st. It's pretty much not like the Terminator alive, but it's pretty much already gathering information and making responses and doing a lot of what I needed to do. So I'm very excited to see where this project goes and if it can be a use for the paranormal community.
Cool. So, Mark, you mentioned that it had picked up a 75% anomaly, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you decide if it's just a piece of dust floating by versus an actual like shadow person or an actual orb or something spiritual?
Well, that's where these come in. The idea is that I don't want to take the paranormal investigator out of investigating.
Okay.
You know how it is. You go to a site, you
Yeah.
have a bunch of things. You have an EMF detector. You got a voice recorder that you may forget to turn on. This is going to do all that. So I can spend more time walking around and crawling through the basement with my cop camera on and really doing investigating while I'm trying to gather data. I could stick this in another room. It's actually can connect to the internet. So if I bring my little wireless router, I can monitor it from another room on a computer if I want to. And that's one of the things I'll show in a minute. And I can control whether or not any of these sensors turn on, turn off. What do I want to focus on?
Okay, so
but at the end of the day,
sorry. So you're able to see like on a screen. So it's recording images as well that you can review?
yep. It
Okay.
actually, well, I'm going to show, maybe I should just show it. Give me a second here.
Yeah.
Okay, can you guys see what I'm sharing right now?
Wait, yes.
Okay.
What do you see? Okay, it looks like okay. So I'm going to turn it.
Yes.
And this is essentially the dashboard. I'm going to show you real quick what it's capable of doing. So you see over here where my mouse is, that's LiDAR. And I'm able to control the sweep rate. You know, do I want to look all around? That's the outline of the room that I'm in right now. Or do I want to just focus in the front? If I have a group with me and we just want to focus on a certain part of the room, any movement is going to get picked up and it's going to record.
Okay.
Right now, there's tons of room for growth, but this is what I started with. Right now, I can do temperature. I can do if something bumps this device, or if an electromagnetic field comes on or comes close to it, it will trigger an alert and it will record. This one here is pretty cool. On the front of my, remember the robots that we use, the little robots?
Yep.
Well, I found sensors that kind of mimic that right, left, forward, and reverse motion that I'm looking for. So I can actually, if something approaches or recedes, I can do that. Ultrasonic, and I said the LiDAR, and the standard PIR that's on any of the, the little music boxes that people get that get triggered. I have that ability to turn those on as well. So with Page, I'm just going to turn one sensor on just to give you an example. They do the magnetometer. Okay. I got a little cheat a little bit. I have to trigger a magnetic field here. So I got my trusty refrigerator magnet right here. And I'm going to put it right there where the sensor is. See if I can trigger it. You see how it's saying record now?
Magnetic anomaly detected. Logging and recording.
So right now something picked up. And it's now recording a clip.
Okay.
And then I have investigating logs. So let's say I put this in a room for 4 hours and I don't watch it. It'll log everything that's happening when this is working. And then it records a video clip and I'm able to download them right to my computer.
That's
right from
awesome.
this. Yeah. So it does a lot. Now, as you were asking about the thresholds, right now, I only uploaded 2 pictures. One picture was that my little 3D printed ghost to test if this thing was actually working. And I had one shadow figure that I uploaded so far to this. And if it sees something like that based on these confidence and anomaly match sensitivities, it'll flag it, it'll box it out, and it will also start recording based on how strong or how light I make this. When I start, it'll probably be like 20% on both of them until I get an understanding that this is working 100% the way I want.
Gotcha.
And I was saying about enrolling. Let's see if this will work. There should be a gold box around my face.
Yep.
The gold box signifies that it recognizes. See?
Yeah.
It said mark identified. So at the end of the day, when there's a lot more information up in this system, I'll enroll people I investigate with at the beginning of the night. What it does is I put their name, click enroll. You move your head around, back, up, down, right, left, and then it'll know who you are, and it can distinguish between you and something else.
Oh, so you're not getting like false hits all the time where it's like, oh, Stephanie walked into the room, Nicole walked into the room.
Yeah.
Like somebody I didn't recognize walked in.
Exactly.
So and you need to warn us before the next investigation so that we can make sure that like we're presentable to be entered into this thing.
I don't want Paige to think I'm ugly.
I did my enrollment at like 5 a.m. one day before work, and I hadn't even combed my hair yet. So the pictures that it has are not flattering of me, but I get it. And also, I can switch cameras. I actually have 2 cameras in the front. I have them both. I have one flag for day and one flag for night. It just depends. One's a dedicated infrared camera, and one of them is, you see how it went to color?
Mm-hmm.
So the day camera can actually act as a night camera too, but you get a color feed when it's daytime. And if I cover the sensor, it should see how it's flagging that as a person
Okay.
down there, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
That's because I have the threshold set very low. But once it um, once I fine tune it some more,
Hmm.
it won't flag it as a person. Before it was
Okay.
flagging that as an anomaly. That's my diffuser. So, but yeah,
Oh,
that's just a little bit of what it can do. It
So the
does have a
more things you train it on, the better it's going to be at identifying anomalies. Like the SLS picks up everything. It picks up chairs and doorways and all kinds of things. But you could, in
clock.
theory, train Paige to be like, that's a chair. Recognize it if it's a chair.
Oh, I could show you that too, by the way. So a lot of these image detection models
Mm-hmm.
come with preloaded things like bird, cat, stop sign, because people are using these things for other projects, but not trying to catch the paranormal. I can turn off
Hmm.
person altogether, and it would work strictly on the anomalies that I upload here. But then, as I said, I can drag this all the way down to, like, say, 45%. It might start going off even more. It's saying anything below 30% flag. And that's how you kind of split the difference between, oh, it's a specific picture, or, well, it's learning, so let me just kind of lower that and make sure I capture
Hmm.
what it can do. But yeah,
Cool.
this is what this has been consuming my time. There is a presentation mode, but again, I made some changes. I'm not 100% sure this will work. Let me turn off the sensors. And this will be the last thing I share from this. Paige, identify yourself. Now, this has a 50-50 chance of working because,
Because you didn't say please.
oh,
Gotta
and
use your manners.
sometimes if I say introduce yourself, sometimes it works better. But in other instances, it won't actually do it. That part I'm
Okay.
still working on.
Oh,
But
All
you
right.
know, it does fire. It's pretty cool when it does it. But
that's
that's
awesome.
for the future. That'll be done
Cool.
by September. That's why I gave myself
So
so much time.
you're no longer going to be a team of one.
Well, it depends on how many I build. I could.
Yeah.
You made a you made a team member.
Kind of, yeah. You know, the thing about any of this stuff is that, you know, it's meant to complement an investigator, not replace them, you know,
Right.
because at the end of the day, you know, if you decide what's paranormal or not, it's usually, um, yeah, see how it's saying, I don't know if I'm still sharing it, but it just flags something as a visual anomaly because I lowered the confidence level. But that's
Or there's a ghost in your
basically
house.
Yeah.
how it's going to work.
So Susan had a really good question. She said,
Yeah.
could you upload photos of deceased people? So like if we're in a certain location and we know that this person lived, like Mazir House, for instance, if we started loading in pictures of Mazir family members, would it be able to detect them as ghosts?
Yeah, I mean, if that image, so let's say it's like the typical vaporous or shadow image with some of their features, it'll pick it up as either a visual anomaly, or I can use the enroll feature and upload a picture. And
Cool. We'll hide
potentially,
it.
if it does see it, it can do it that way. That's a good question. I didn't even think of that, but yeah, I can actually, the way it's configured now. So
That's amazing. That's amazing.
We also had another question about Paige if it can pick up movement in various light wavelengths.
right now, turn its face. See those two little lights right there that are staring there? It's infrared. So right now it's going to send out infrared, but I can easily put other light spectrums on that. In fact, I have this camera here that I use sometimes. This one actually flashes pictures. Give it a second to turn on. That's infrared, UV, and then full spectrum. So there's nothing to say I can't put one of these boxes somewhere on its body and just let the box do the work, you know. So yeah, I can, you know, it's like full spectrum cameras really are that. It's all the different white light wavelengths. That's what makes infrared infrared. It's a different wavelength. Ultraviolet has a different wavelength. And then, of course, full spectrum is more like daylight in those different spectrums. But yeah, I can do that. I mean, once the infrared
cool.
filter drops on these cameras, you can record in any spectrum you want. That's a very good question too. I gotta make a notch to add one of those on here. I'm getting great ideas
You're
tonight.
brilliant. Which
And then-
we agree, Susan.
Adam
Don't
has
give me
a really good question on there too.
Saying bring it to Borland.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
So-
absolutely.
So Adam is wondering if you suddenly developed any sort of psychic abilities to be able to see, hear, feel spirits, would you still continue to work on things like this, or would you maybe put it by the wayside, or what would you do?
Well, how would I develop psychic? If I get hit in the head, maybe.
Yeah, you get whacked in the head, you drop Paige
fall
on your
down the
head while you're
stairs.
investigating.
I would still build because it's an interest of mine. Before I was doing this stuff for paranormal, I was building little 3D printed tanks and RC vehicles and stuff like that. So I was always tinkering with things. So I would still use it. I mean, in essence, how the AI works in this, I can change Paige to say, I am the Terminator. I'm a security robot. And, some of the projects that I work on will take pictures and send me an email with the video clip. And I can just very easily wire that into this too. So right now it's a paranormal investigator, but if I ever decided to work on something else, I could very easily change. And that's the beauty of some of these learning models that you can get. And by the way, the AI I'm using in here is totally free. It's all free
wow.
stuff that you can download, put them right on there. You just need to know, like, like this is a Raspberry Pi that's powering this thing. It's the most recent version, but it has a hat on it, and that puts in an SSD memory as well as an AI chip, and that's what's helping this thing to think. And plus, I have a lot of things going on at the same time with that AI chip. It keeps it from crashing. So, but they're expensive. But at the same time, you can kind of take this and make anything you want with it, So
Yeah.
Will you give Paige a hat?
it's got her a little LiDAR hat right now. Oh yeah, I'll get her a little Victorian hat or something like that.
Yeah, there we go. Perfect.
Raoul says you're going to become like Spider-Man who has spider senses but also uses gadgets.
Well, yeah, I mean, the only place that ever like gives me the creeps is when I go to the Shanley Hotel and we go up to that third floor. I remember when Billy used to do the Casper meetups and she was opening that top floor. I wouldn't stay up there. I would wait for the group to come. I'd wait on the second floor and then I would go up there. But that's the only place where I was ever like, it felt like if I was walking around my old neighborhood where I grew up at like 3 a.m, I'd be like, yeah, I got to get out of here before somebody jumps me. That's the way it felt up there. So
Yeah. That would be very interesting to do whenever Casper starts up again, is to go back up there, bring that, and load in some of the photos of the people that we have, out in the great room, and see if it picks
Yep.
up on any of them. That'd be amazing.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's that one shadow figure you guys sent me. I haven't uploaded it yet. I didn't have time, but I'm going to upload
Yeah.
that one. But if anybody's got pictures of things that they consider anomalous, send them to me. I mean, this is now becoming like an audience participation project because in essence, you're teaching this how to learn. And that's the
Yeah.
most exciting part of it, is that, the more it sees or remembers, the more it'll start making associations and start capturing those things. And it's pretty cool when it gets an anomaly. You know how the gold box went around my face and it called out, identified. If there was something in its memory right now that looked or felt anomalous to it, it gray boxes it if I was watching it live, and it'll call it out. It'll say, it matches image, or it's a percentage match to this picture. So it's capable of doing all that as of right now, and I still haven't finished developing it yet.
Yeah, that's
So.
incredible.
Yeah, Sean said that you are his favorite CIA plant. Definitely never accepting if he asked me to put a visor on my head. But he's
Well,
talking
it's funny.
about neurovisor. You know how that, he's like, one day somebody's gonna snap their fingers and everybody who's used neurovisor is gonna be like under government control or something.
Well,
Yeah,
I'll be first under government control then.
I've been neurovisor twice. One of them was for like focus, and the other one was for I forget what the other one was, but I felt pretty good after it. I actually
Yeah.
thought about buying one, but it's like $400, and I've already invested quite a lot of money into this. So
Yeah. So the
I
reason
do have one.
because
I love having it on hand because especially like I've been using it sometimes like I'm on summer break obviously from college, but like I've been using it before doing some of my classes so I can help myself focus a bit more. When I have like a lot to do around the house, I'll use it, beforehand just to kind of get myself into that mindset of okay, I've really got to clean up this stuff right now. So it's pretty helpful.
yeah,
I think it's worth the investment.
it was a good experience when Anthony did it to me. I was like,
Mhm.
I did feel a little sharper that night, and it was like the end of the day after work, and I was tired to begin with, and then afterwards, like I feel great. I can drive home without falling asleep.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
it's a cool
but yeah,
experience for sure.
Yeah.
But the reason Sean says you're a CIA plant is because of your Wi-Fi experiment.
yeah, I've been that's actually been out for a very long time. And to the CIA point of it, the developers that are playing around, I didn't do anything with it yet. I just kind of took what was on the internet, downloaded it to a couple of pieces of equipment, and just was trying it out. And there's a lot to use it for the paranormal. There's a lot of refinements that need to be made because it picks up people in the room. One of them has a
Mhm.
dashboard and actually was picking up my breathing when I was testing it, and it had in the corner heart rate, and I was looking at my watch and it was accurate. I was like, yeah, my heart's rate about 80 beats per minute. That's what this thing is saying. And that's all from the disturbances in the Wi-Fi. But what they do to try to safeguard people is that you can only use a Wi-Fi that you can log in and password to. So I can't just like roll up to somebody's house and hack into their Wi-Fi and spy on what's going on in the house because it won't allow me to connect to that Wi-Fi. Although and you'd argue you put a router right outside somebody's house. You will see inside through the walls and everything else. Well,
Mhm.
what's Wi-Fi? 50, 100 feet.
Yeah.
You know.
Or you just
So
guess like pet's name and birthday or something like most
yeah,
people's
never used
Wi-Fi
that.
passwords are not that difficult.
Yeah. So
Yeah, you
I
got to.
want to. I have another question for that for Paige. If so, say we're doing lives like this, would it be able to pick up some sort of an anomaly, like if it was behind me?
Well, yeah, that's what I was doing before. Like we were sitting here and it was staring at the screen,
Okay.
and it started seeing the smoke in your little backdrop here. You know how you have those chairs with the mist in the
Mhm.
back? And it
Okay.
probably gray boxed that, and then it shouted out a visual anomaly. So it will call out things. It's not waiting for input from me. Once I turn it on, it can do whatever it wants. You
Yeah.
know, it
Okay.
knows the sensors, it knows what it sees, and the only thing I do is I set, like the sensitivity levels as I experiment with it and try to make it perfect it.
Mhm.
Um, but also, yeah, it'll like right here these two sensors are like the robots that we have. So movement right to left, left to right, it'll call it out if something goes back and forth. So
So
Yeah.
could you
That's
in
so amazing.
theory link like a video feed remotely into Paige and she'd monitor it?
yes, in fact, those cameras that I use, I can connect over the internet with them. So I have another side project. I put it on the side because I started working on this, but I was making a rover. And it's using an application called Tailscale. And basically, I take my cellular modem, I mount it on my rover. As long as I got a clear signal, I can drive that thing down to the park, miles and miles away, and I can see it through my screen, and I can control it with an Xbox controller. Uh, so that's something I want to work on in the fall after I finish with this.
As
Um,
long as it's not a submarine.
oh,
Don't control those with Xbox controllers.
oh, yeah, and go down 13,000 feet in a carbon fiber tube. I swear, billionaires all have death wishes. I was like, why would you do that? You're
With
not
an
supposed to
Xbox
be down there.
controller. I don't know. Yeah, that's crazy. But that's a cool concept though, because in theory you can remotely ghost hunt or investigate from anywhere.
Hmm.
So I have I actually have 20 of them. I keep 10 in my storage unit in case I ever had a flood in the house or something, so I don't have to rebuild the entire thing. But I have 20 cameras. They connect remotely over the internet. They're just strictly motion, but I have them set up 5 at a time on separate accounts. I could actually put 5 in 5 or 5 in 4 locations. See, it's what happens when you do math at the end of the night. But I can monitor 4 locations with 5 cameras remotely as long as there's an internet connection there. So yeah, you know, and all of that software is all free. Like it's all stuff. When you start playing with the Raspberry Pi, you go out and the developers out there share their code for free on GitHub and a few other repositories, and you can actually put together some pretty cool stuff. Most of the stuff that I build, though, I tweak it myself or I build it from scratch because there are things that I want to add, and also the technology advances every couple of years. Raspberry Pi puts out a new board, and they're more and more powerful. So the one that's in here right now, the box is about that big, the little card. It's got 8 gig of RAM, like a computer, and it's got Wi-Fi. It's got Bluetooth. It's got all the things you would need to make a project, related to the paranormal.
That's
amazing.
Couple questions in the chat for you. Raul wants to know, Mark, did you 3D print Paige's body?
Yeah, let me show you something real quick. So that was the part that probably was harder than actually making this thing. The next section itself is sections. Now I have regular 3D printers, not like the big industrial ones you see all the influencers having. So I had to individually print these things, and that's what gives Paige its height. But at the same time, they're hollow. I can run cables down the middle. So yeah, it was all 3D printed. Everything you see here is 3D printed. So I use an AI designer to help me because I don't know if you've ever tried to make a 3D case. It's a pain in the ass, and it takes a lot of time. It's not hard, but it's like, oh, the screws are off. I got to print another one. So to save plastic, because I went through so many things of filament to print this thing, I used an AI thing, and I did test fits before I actually printed everything out. And it worked out very well. Like this is the cap. This box, this part pops out and all the guts are inside of here. That's why there's no real wires like my old stuff. I hid all my wires. And I made it so that it's modular. If I could put another one of these sections down here somewhere and add more sensors if I want in the future,
And
so
she looks like she has a little face.
Huh?
She looks like she has a little face.
There's her eyes, flared nostrils. But every one of these little boxes is for a different type of sensor. And like I said, I have so many ideas, but I was like, let me get this thing working first, and then I can start investing in better sensors. Like millimeter wave radar. There's a really good one out there. The ones I use are cheap. They're like $15, but they have one for $125, and it can do multiple target tracking. It can zone in on micro motion, they call it. And I'm like, all right, before I spend that kind of money, I want to make sure I can get this working, incorporate it, and then I'll go shove one in, and then see if that helps with evidence gathering. But all of this is to really just try to get some irrefutable evidence. That's why I use different types of sensors to get this done.
Susan's asking if Paige could monitor 5 cameras at once.
Probably not. It has 2 right now because this version of the board I'm using has actually 2 camera ribbons that you can use. You can plug in like USB cameras and things like that, and you could potentially expand it. But right now I'm using 2 of the USBs, so I could probably get it up to 4. But all of that is real estate, and then it slows down the performance. I'm already running 3 AI models, 2 cameras, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sensors in there right now.
Wow.
So, yeah. But yes, you can. But the more cameras you add, it's more video rendering, and then you have to make it decide. Well, what do I want to do if I see one thing on one camera and still monitoring my current eyes? That's its eyes. That's 2 cameras there and there.
Okay.
I'd like one like a spider with a whole bunch of eyes, but then it gets
like a little Medusa.
Yeah. That's what I should do is actually attachments, give it like bangs or hair,
She needs a wig.
Make her look like ET.
Spooky Shiv says Paige needs a Kickstarter.
Yeah, I am the Kickstarter. $200 there, $150 here. I would say, and again, I don't sell any of this stuff really because, one day I may get not bored of the paranormal, but I may want to try to do something else. And I'll just open up something called a GitHub. I would give the code away for free, because at the end of the day, if somebody wants to pick the project up and collaborate, that would be the best arrangement for me because it's like I could see it evolve. And like today, I got a couple great ideas just from everybody that's on. And thanks everybody for that stuff because I'm now going to go back and think about it. But that's how I get ideas. I'll be on an investigation. I see somebody using a piece of hardware. I'll take a look, see what sensors it's using. I'm like, oh, okay, that might be something fun to put in.
I gotta tell you, Sean got really excited when he saw your post that said "Help Wanted." And he's like, "I'm gonna join Mark's team."
Aww.
Like he wants pictures, not you.
You're Sean?
Yeah.
He could join me anytime. If I had somebody, to kind of help with some of this stuff, it would really, it's like I'm a one-man show. So, like I went to Carnwath, for instance, and I had to go through all that video footage at the end of the day, and I put out about 8 or 9 cameras. So it's evidence gathering because I like to do all aspects. It's not just building stuff, and it's all the evidence you collect. Somebody's got to review it, and it's unless I can get AI to figure out how to just review everything.
Well, that's what you do. You just load up Paige and run all your videos straight through. Be like, tell me when there's an anomaly.
And that's the idea. It's like, the old ways of doing it before, like I think of the old Ghost Hunter episodes, Ghost Hunters, when they used to put out like these cameras and miles of cable, and then they have 4 guys in a hotel trying to review all the footage. This will only give me video clips when something gets triggered. These sensors will all run at the same time. But I had to put in little switches, in the actual dashboard to turn them off because, if I'm trying to test the PIR, I put my hand in front of it, the ultrasound goes off and then this goes off. So, but when I turn on all those sensors and I leave it somewhere and I'm not watching it, it's going to log and record, and it's going to give me a little text log of everything that happened and it saw. And, the video clips will only be generating once something happens. So that saves a lot of time. If I'm sitting there and I'm scrolling through, oh yeah, that was an investigator walking through. Oh, that looks weird. Let me go back and look at that. So.
Now, does that have like a sound sensor kind of thing on it? Can it detect infrasound, ultrasound?
This is ultrasound right here, but the ultrasound is used for distance. So in other words, it goes out about 3 meters, I think. And if something comes in there and interrupts it, and now it's reading, say, 1.5 meters, it sees it as something that is moving in the room, and then it'll click it. Paige does have ears. They're wireless. I have actually 3 of these. It's a Bluetooth set that plugs into the sound, the audio in. And I think I'm going to mount them like ears. But I was thinking of also using a parabolic dish. Those, they look almost like an umbrella.
Yes.
I can mount one of those on using these mounting brackets. I can mount one on there to do proper EVPs. And that's the final stage. Well, one of the final stages. I'm going to have it do EVP sessions on its own. Come up with a list of popular questions, like when we do a DR60 recording or something like that, and let Paige call them out and ask those questions, see if we get a response. Nobody's in the room, and something's talking. Who's to say, we might get something.
Neat. That'd be a really cool experiment just to see, okay, are spirits going to respond to a piece of machinery essentially, or are they going to be like, what is this thing? I'm not going to talk to it and just, walk out of the room.
You got to make it a little cuter first. It needs the hair. It needs some earrings on its ears.
Little Victorian era dress to put on it,
There we go.
But yeah, so this is, this represents, between trying to make the 3D files, print it, and anybody who does 3D printing knows with humidity, sometimes the prints come out a little heinous. Then all of a sudden, like with the thunderstorms we've been having a couple times, half a roll of filament later and the power goes out and it's half completed and it doesn't remember where it wants to continue. It's like, I just wasted $20 on filament. So that was the hardest part, is printing this shit printing this stuff in the summer.
Yeah. Wow.
That's the fun part about being a small podcast so far and not being monetized. You can say whatever the fuck you want. And nobody says anything.
Sure can.
Yeah. Adam's asking if you've ever used any of your tech to look for alien life.
No, but I mean, the same principles apply, like if something moves, and actually, I think aliens would be easier to capture than the paranormal, because you're trying to capture shadow figures and unexplained movement in the room, and at least in an alien, you see Mr. Gray walk by, any one of these sensors are going to trip and do it. But I would, if I hooked up with somebody who wanted to do that, I would go out to Pine Bush and go sit in a field with Paige and see what happens. It's going to be the same principle.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought of like training it on like a night sky and having it watch for UFOs?
Well, yeah, but when you do the night sky, you need different types of camera lenses. So, like Raspberry Pi has something called a high quality camera setup, and there's a lot of people. Like I read a lot of the publications that they put out, and people that make things with Raspberry Pi will put them out and say. So one guy had a time lapse, but he had a specialized lens that he put up, and when you pointed in the sky, he was actually tracking. I don't know where this guy was doing it, but he was tracking. You could see the whole sky just overnight, just moving, and it was beautiful. But you need specialized equipment to do night stuff, and these cameras are very cheap. They're good for focusing on a medium size to a smaller or a larger room, depending on the camera type you use. But when you go into night watching, you need night watching equipment, and that stuff gets expensive. It's a specialized field.
So basically, to all of our listeners, watchers, Mark needs a large donation to get these cool cameras so that he can actually like night watch sky.
Funny story. I went.
Story first.
For anybody who is interested in like beefing up their paranormal equipment, thrift shops are the best. Like I walked into a antique shop when I was in Florida, and there was a set of night vision. They're digital, but they work very well. Digital night vision binoculars. I took them outside. They work great. $40.
Wow.
So, if you want to get cameras, you want to open them up and take out the infrared filter and make your own night cameras. That's the best way. You break it, it's a few dollars. Who cares, But yeah, I'm a big fan of. That's how I started. When I didn't have a lot of stuff, I would just go to Goodwill or the Restore and cameras, anything I saw that I could use, like tripods. Forget about it. I got like 10 of them now, and I got them all from Goodwill. Good ones too.
Susan wants to know if Paige can detect vibration.
Yes, the sensor here, the one that I stuck the magnet on before, it has movement. So if something significant enough vibrates near here, it will pick it up. And there are sensors that I'm planning to integrate that are even focusing on just that. But yeah, right now it can do it to some level. I mean, if you give this thing a little bit of a move like that, it'll trigger the camera. So yeah. This is awesome. I got a lot of questions tonight. I thought I was going to bore everybody to tears with this, but this is great.
No, you've got a lot of good questions coming out too. So now it's gonna like trigger something for you, and you're gonna have like a ton of more projects now.
No, I think moving forward, if I want to experiment with any type of technology, it's going to be wired into this one unit because again, I can wire it from inside. It looks clean, and I can carry a lot of stuff on here. Once it's mounted to a Roomba, I'll be able to, I can put a lot of these mounting brackets, these little triangles all down I can put as many things and hang them off and add sensors and wire them in. So I think anything that I want to experiment will be incorporated into this moving forward. So I'm carrying around one instead of 5 things, This already has the LiDAR, and I have I showed you on the graphic before on and I'm going to put the millimeter wave radar in here so that I don't have to carry the bulky setup that I usually do. It'll all be all in one.
That's going to be so cool just to see you roll up an investigation like that. Robert McCaffrey saying that his group was approached by CNN about a pilot series and they would love this stuff.
Really? Robert, Third Power Paranormal, Mark DeNardo. I'm on Instagram. Feel free to drop me a line, and as I said, I do this for the love of the game. I'm happy just to show what, and again, it promotes the field, and shows that, we're not just a bunch of people running around, trying to create evidence. We're trying to gather the evidence, and that's really that's my mission. Irrefutable proof of the afterlife.
Yeah.
So yeah, feel free to reach out. Happy to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
I
gotta
swear,
say, go ahead,
in
Steph.
in 1,000 years, people are going to look back on things like what we're doing, and they're going to see Mark DeNardo's name, and they're going to be like, that guy right there knew what he was doing, and he set us all up for this whole stuff. Like, your stuff is going to go viral one day.
I would hope
Think
so.
it.
I mean, again, I do it for the love of the game. Like I was looking at my Third Power Instagram page, and I've noticed lately because I've done a few podcasts. I went on 305 Paranormal about a month ago. Those guys were great. I did Anthony Simonelli's podcast, and he's been
Yeah.
promoting page on his. And then all of a sudden, I start to see it slowly tick up. Where I used to have a couple hundred followers, I got a lot more now, and I'm like, wow, people are actually taking notice.
Yeah.
But I like it to be interactive. And anybody ever has a question for me, shoot me a message. I'm happy to answer it.
Yeah. It's just amazing watching you work.
Mhm.
On any project. It's when we get to go to locations together and stuff like that, just the new stuff that you always come up with, I'm just like blown away by it. I don't always understand a lot of it, but I'm like, it's pretty cool how it works, so to see it actually functioning.
Yeah, I mean, the best way I can explain what I'm doing is the sensor from a music box, those little lights that you like, the ones that go back and forth, which I have the
Yep.
code, by the way. I just haven't had a chance to send it over, so you can do that. The little sensors indicating forward, reverse, right, left motion,
Yep.
temperature, all the basic things that people are using today are just in one box, and it's logging it. And so that you don't have to even think about it. You turn it on, go back later, and you can actually, I like to invest, like I said.
Interface is experiencing interference. Stand by.
You know why it's doing that is because the microphone is on. It's hearing me
okay.
speak, and it doesn't know how to respond yet to everything that it's going to hear. When it's in
Yeah.
interactive mode, like I said, it's a little buggy. That part I have to work out. But if it doesn't understand something that you're asking it or it hears, it'll say that, and it gives you a clue. It's like, oh, I got to put some more into it. It's like a narrative, like an origin story. When I said you are Paige, and it does say, hi, I'm Paige. Like if you look at some of the teaser ones when I was initially building this thing, I told it what it was.
Yeah.
3 paragraphs. You do this, be objective. And the model inside of it is almost like, it's like training a kid almost, it's like, I got it to speak, I got it to hear, sees, and next
Now you
it's got
gotta
to
teach
walk.
it to walk.
Yeah, that's like I said, that's going to be the hardest part because, especially with the time, I don't want it to tumble down a flight of stairs, and it's got to have a base that's robust enough to go over a bump in a doorway or a carpet and things
Yeah.
like that.
You gotta
So,
start that Kickstarter because I could totally see that as the head on one of those robot dogs.
well, I looked into that as a possible chassis because you can get them, but some of them are very expensive. Like, you want to get one that really moves, not like a kid's toy, talking several $1,000s, but
Yeah.
the brains themselves are the same technology that I'm using. And like I said, a lot of this stuff is free if you know where to look. You just download it and just run with it. And anybody out there that wants to get into this stuff, a lot of people are coming out against AI and data centers, but you can get a lot of guided tutorials right through ChatGPT, for instance. Get the paid subscription because if you work on something like this, you'll run out of time very quickly. But
Yeah.
it can spit out. I one of the software rewrites, I had some bugs in it. I threw it into one of the AIs. It fixed the code for me and spat it back in like 2 minutes. And we're talking like 1,000 at this point, maybe close to 2,000 lines of code that's running this thing. And for anybody who wants to get into electronics, I should do that one day. There are tons of tutorials, all these different boards and sensors, and some of them are about the size of a postage stamp, like the camera in here. This little camera right there, it's on a board about this big. I would say about the size of a stamp. And you can program. I know you're getting into some of that stuff, Nicole, with the Arduino programming and things like that. And you can make all kinds of really cool things. Predefined code already. Just upload it, maybe tweak it a little bit, And there's so many tutorials out there that'll teach you. And with AI, it'll scroll the web for you and also recommend pages for you to go into. Say, I want to make this. Not only tells you how to do it, but it also shows you where it's referencing. And, it's funny. It's like a lot of the pages I used to go to on the internet to look for ideas, spit them right out. It's like, oh, it's all right. All right, good.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know?
like ChatGPT literally wrote the whole code for the things that I was building, and
Wow.
I just like tweaked it here and there. I'm like, nope, I want to do this. I want to do this. And I was like, okay, 1 second. It makes it so easy.
And that's part of it. Like some people, oh, is that cheating? I'm like, no, you still have to understand how to manipulate the code. You can't just take it 100% at face value. You actually have to look at it because, ChatGPT does make mistakes, and you could have something working perfectly and upload the code. It's a disaster, and then you got to figure out why. So for me, it's like I can spend more time thinking about ideas than in the old days when I used to code everything by hand, and it would take 2 or 3 weeks. I can do it in a night, 2 nights, at least get the kind of the core idea and then tweak it from there,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, anybody watching, Mark DeNardo has some most integrity with his evidence that I've seen, because a lot of people throw things up and they're like, oh, that's a ghost, that's a ghost. And Mark doesn't do that. One thing, when you caught that, what really, really looked like a little kid ghost at the Shanley, and somebody questioned it, and you go back and look and it was a stuffed animal, a lot of people would have like dug in and been like, no, there's no way that's a ghost. But you were like, all right, well, let me go back and look at the footage, see what else I got. Like, I really respect that as an investigator.
I throw away like 98% of what I capture because I can't substantiate it. I mean, I think the strongest evidence I've recorded was I got a shadow figure at the Columns Museum, and then I did an investigation at the Absecon Lighthouse. And for anybody who wants to get a team together, you get 7 or 8 people, $400, you have the place for almost the entire night. It's very well maintained. It's safe. I mean, it's in Atlantic City. It's a rough neighborhood because it's off the boardwalk, but they have the entire property fenced in, and there's a caretaker there at all times. And I got some really great evidence there. That's on my YouTube channel. I would say that's one of the, like my wife was picking up on a child in the place. I had a psychic on the line. I told her nothing about where we were going until she came on. She was rattling off names that were in the actual pamphlets that they give you, people that have died in the lighthouse, and I kind of logged all of it. I did like, and we used some old school and new school techniques with EVP recording and stuff like that. But I did catch, it's very faint, but you see this one female investigator walking through, and a little shadow going right behind them. But that stuff is few and far between. I'd rather be, and I never say, yeah, that's a ghost. I say I pick something up and let people decide,
Yeah.
The nice thing is I haven't been heckled yet because I only put stuff up that is really compelling because I don't want that, It's like, oh, aboard the hate train. Yeah, that's bullshit right there. That's vapor. That's dust. No, if I can't substantiate what it is, hey, this looks strange. What do you guys think?
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter what you put out, like I've said before, like my own mother, God bless her, she sent me a video that she caught on her like Ring camera, and it's a piece of a spider web. It was classic spider web looking, and she's like, I'm telling you, it's either paranormal or it's an alien life form. And I'm like, no, it's not. So it doesn't matter how much evidence you give to somebody or how little evidence you give to them, they're going to make up their own minds and they're going to believe whatever they want to believe anyway. So
yeah, it was a friend of mine in Virginia sent me a clip, and I can't to this day explain it. I got to post it one of these days because I showed it. I showed it on a podcast I was on, and everybody on there was like, "Yeah, that's really strange." So it's backyard security camera, and you see this shadow going in and out and around. And I'm trying to track the angle when I'm looking at the video. I'm like, all right, so the security lights are pointed that way. Could it be a shadow cast this way? No, 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 it's not that. It's not this, but it's. I actually got the creeps from it. And I was like, did the dogs go crazy? And he was like, yeah, the dogs didn't bark. They just were at attention. Then he went back and reviewed the security footage that night. And he was like, yeah, something weird was going on in my backyard. And I was like, yeah, I think that's weird. But, it's compelling. But, I value people's opinions. Tell me what you think,
Yeah.
I will never discount anybody's activity because that's their experience, that's their reality. But for me, I second guess everything. My own things. I'm like, no, that wasn't a ghost.
No, I mean, like I said, I think doing this 5 years is maybe 2 or 3 pieces of evidence that I can say I'm like, I can't explain it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I actually note where I put my cameras. Could somebody have cast a shadow? Could somebody have gotten behind it? Like Collins Museum, no way somebody could have been behind where I stuck this camera because it was up against the wall. And that's what I always say. What could it be rather than what could it not be? And then if I can't figure it out, all right, something good to put up. You know.
Oh my God, this hour went so quick.
Oh, it did.
Did I put anybody to sleep?
No, not at all. Everybody's like fascinated. They're like edge of the seats listening. At the end of the show, we do go around and we say one good thing that happened to us this week. So, Mark, I'll give you a second to think because we sprung it on you.
Hey, Isabel, can you bring her?
One good thing that came up this week.
Go ahead, Mark.
Was in general just a good week. Work was quiet. Lisa's awake. That's the good thing that happened. I didn't put the audience to sleep. Again, when you start talking techie stuff, sometimes people kind of zone out. So I kind of try to explain just what it does, and try not to go off into the tangents. I mean, I could talk for an hour, at least on AI and what I've learned and chatbots that I support at work and things like that. But it's like, it's not really germane to what we're talking about. It's like, what is it doing? It's 3 AIs and it speaks and it does things and it can reason a little bit. So
sometimes your good thing is just you had a good week. Nothing bad happened. Nothing chaotic.
Yeah.
I try not to focus.
Eyebrow puppy.
Yes. So my good thing was obviously I was at the Outer Banks last week. My husband saw a doctor the other day because most people that were watching last week, he got injured on the beach and his muscle is healing. He tore his quadricep muscle and it's healing, but now he has more back problems, which we're dealing with. And we got a new family member.
Yes, we did.
So this is our new family member. This is Matanuska Bear Morticia Smith.
Aww. What a cutie.
She is. She's 2.6 pounds.
Hi.
Very cute.
Yeah.
A Pomeranian?
She is, yes. And Mouthy, we just got her on Saturday on our way home. Go ahead and take her. And she's definitely finding her way around the house. She's smart as a whip, just and vocal.
What a cutie. My good thing this week is I had an amazing weekend in Salem. So Salem is my favorite place in the whole world. I've only ever been in October during the height of like spooky season and all the Halloween chaos. But I got to go in August when it was hot as hell, but it was quiet. There was no line. So it was a whole different side of Salem. We got to go to the beach.
So cool.
And that was really, really nice.
I want to go.
Nice afternoon tea with my daughter at the tea shop, which with the little tea sandwiches and everything. So that was a lot of fun. And another cool thing that happened this week was, I know we've talked about filming at the Catskill Game Farm. We had the guys from It's Explored on. The video has actually dropped, part 1, over on their channel. So if you aren't following them yet, go check that out. Make sure you subscribe and watch the video because it's all of our Catskill Game Farm chaos. You will see where we got chased by a bear.
I had the best pot pie today I've ever tasted. So that was really good too.
What kind of pie was it?
Just a chicken pot pie. It was just delicious. I looked at it. We got it from Hungry Root. So I was kind of skeptical, but it actually tastes fresh baked. And I was like, that was a very good way to start the evening. So, but in general, I try.
Makes these good ones.
I try to always focus on the positive. That's why I'm gray instead of bald. You know what I mean? Because life always throws you curveballs and things like that. But just how you adapt to them and move on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
That's words of wisdom right there.
And Paige worked tonight. That was a good thing.
Yes.
You know,
Good job, Paige.
actually, good work. I think the mic is off now, so she won't respond. But yeah, I mean, I'm more excited and optimistic about what I can do with this thing now that I got it running. So,
Mhm.
like I said to the audience, thanks for participating tonight. I really appreciated the questions. And if you want to participate, just drop me a line with your favorite evidence picture, and I will happily upload it here. And I'll thank you for it because it'll make it a better investigative tool.
Mhm.
Everybody go follow Mark
Perfect.
over on Instagram so you can keep up to date with all of the page announcements.
Yeah.
And hopefully,
I
once
actually,
it's all trained and running, you'll
I
come back
actually have
on.
two Instagram. Oh yeah, absolutely. Anytime you guys want me on, I'm happy to come.
Yeah.
It- I have two Instagrams. I do have the Ghost Report. That's what I started when I didn't think anybody would actually care about what I had to say. And then I have now the Third Power Paranormal page as well. So you can subscribe to both. I look at both of them.
Mark, what is that under? Because I'm searching Third Power Paranormal and it's not coming up for me.
Third
I'm trying to leave that one.
underscore power underscore
Okay.
paranormal.
Underscores, that's what it is. I'm like, I know it was that, but I couldn't find it. Third Eye Paranormal keeps coming up. And who the heck
Who
are
are
they?
they? Imposters.
Right.
But yeah, feel free to drop me a line. I also have a page on Facebook, Third Power Paranormal, if you want to follow that. I usually post to all of them, anything that I'm up to. And if you ever have questions about tech or where to get started, feel free to drop me a line.
Yeah.
There it is.
There we go. We got it. I found it. I didn't know the underscores. But yes, thank you, Mark, for coming on and sharing page with us.
It's
And
my
for just
pleasure.
being
And
a
thanks
good
for
friend
having me.
in general.
Oh,
Always
yeah.
willing to help us out and hang out.
You guys are great. Honestly, if it wasn't for you guys answering all my questions and letting me tag along, I don't think I would have been doing this today in this capacity. So,
Aw.
thank you.
So what I'm hearing, instead of Paige, it should have been named Nicole.
If I can figure out a way to make it integrate with
That's her middle
artificial
name.
intelligence.
Right. Stephanie might be a little too many letters. We'd have to go with like
It
Lisa.
is.
Lisa's shorter.
There we go.
Yeah, but
It's
I always
officially
give
her
you
middle
guys
name is Lisa. Paige
I always
Lisa.
give you guys shout outs because, the fact, like I said, and it's like all the people that, allowed me to tag along in the beginning, because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I mean, yeah, I could solder two wires together, but how to make it work in this world, I kind of learned that from watching other people. So,
Yeah. Well, we love having you on investigation. You bring a completely different element to the whole investigation, and it's amazing.
thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And
Appreciate that.
speaking of which, we are going to have an investigation where you're going to be helping us out again at Crystal Connection.
Crystal Connections. Yes.
Crystal Connection
I was calling it
on
Crystal
October 30th.
Cave. I was calling it Crystal Cave the other day because somebody asked me about it, and Lisa's like, "No, it's Crystal Connections." Like, whoops.
They have a salt cave. It counts.
Yeah.
Crystal Cave. But yeah, Crystal Connection.
Anybody who's never done a salt cave, they're awesome. It's very relaxing. I went to one in Connecticut and I fell asleep. It was just very soothing. Don't bring your phones in the cave, though.
Awesome. What else do we have coming up real quick before we wrap? September 12th, we are going to be at the Borland House. We are doing day tours and we are doing an exclusive overnight investigation. The only people there are going to be the people who booked rooms for the night. This is not open to like general public to buy a ticket. So you have to be staying there to investigate. It's going to be awesome. We also just got word that we are going to be in the General Montgomery Day Parade. So we're going to have a float and it's going to be really fun. And we're going to throw candy at your faces if we see you. So come
awesome.
out and watch us and we'll throw the good candy too. I'm not throwing Tootsie Rolls. That's what I'm most excited about, not ghosts parades. But it's going to be fun. So everybody have a wonderful, wonderful week. Again, thank you so much, Mark, for coming on. And we will
My
see
pleasure.
you soon.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for